Now to the United Kingdom. Britons have been toasting a significant easing of coronavirus restrictions with early morning pints this Monday and much-needed haircuts as the country takes a tentative step towards the resumption of normal life. Let's get the latest on this and other news from London with our correspondent Olly Barratt, who's outside a local pub. Hello, Olly. So tell us about these easing of restrictions and how have the British public responded?
Yeah, so lots is opening up today, actually, Sally. Pubs and restaurants are allowed to put on outdoor hospitality, so there are no people drinking inside this pub. They're all outside here and in the garden at the back. And restaurants that have outdoor space are allowed to start serving food in that outdoor space as well. But gyms are opening up today as well. Barbers are too. You can probably tell that I haven't had a chance to get to one of those yet. Actually, on this road that I'm standing on, it's a West London high street with a number of barber shops on it. And as I drove down that road earlier today, there were just queues of men lined up along the street trying to get a spot in the barber shop to get their locks trimmed for the first time in many, many weeks. Zoos are opening, theme parks, outdoor fairs and attractions can open as well. So there is a lot that is changing today. And for many people that have been turning up at this particular pub where I am in West London, it's almost felt quite emotional seeing them meeting again for the first time for many of them in a long time. And having a drink with their friends outdoors nonetheless, but they are able to at least have that drink at a pub. The weather has played its part today, as you would probably predict, Sally, here in England. It was snowing, actually, in this part of London earlier on, so people are having to brave the weather to have their first pint at a pub in many weeks, but many of them are deciding to do just that.
Yeah, you don't get in the way of a Brit and their beer. But Olly, of course, underneath all this relief at some semblance of normality, there is concern that all the progress made through the vaccine programme in Britain, and it has been significant, could be pushed back if new variants are imported. And there's particular concern about the variant that we found here in South Africa because it is more transmissible than some of the other variants.
I'm afraid I couldn't hear that question, Sally, but I think you may have been asking about the further easing of restrictions here in the UK and what that roadmap is going to look like. Well, we know now that deaths, for example, in this country are down around 99% from their peak in January. The vaccination rollout really is having the effect that it was hoped it was going to have. Hospitalisations very, very low again as well. So Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister, says the country is on track to further ease its roadmap due to the further ease its lockdown restrictions according to the roadmap that he has laid out. And that would mean that in the middle of May we get our next easing. So that would mean indoor hospitality, for example. We expect that some international travel will resume at that point on a traffic light system. Countries that are rated green mean you can travel to and from there, from the United Kingdom, without having to quarantine when you return. South Africa, as you know, is on the red list at the moment in terms of international travel, but the government is promising that that will be regularly reviewed so that countries can move up and down that traffic light system. Boris Johnson, we understand, is minded to allow people to have some kind of foreign summer holiday season this year, and it'll be interesting to see exactly which destinations open up first for Brits who want to travel abroad and have holidays, but also see friends and family that they haven't seen for a long time.
Well, Olly, you basically managed to answer. I was talking about the fears of any vaccine progress being destroyed if any new variants are inadvertently imported. So you gave me the roadmap of where the plan is going. So that's great. I just want to ask you a little bit more about the aftermath following on Friday's sad news about the death of the Duke of Edinburgh, the Queen's husband. More members of the royal family making public statements, most notably, of course, his grandsons, Harry and William.
That's right. We've heard from both of the princes today, Harry and William. William describing Prince Philip as an extraordinary man. Prince Harry describing him as a man of service, honour and great humour, but also called Prince Philip the legend of banter. He also talked about his legendary barbecuing skills as well. Prince William's statement, I think, was a little bit more formal than Harry's, but of course all eyes are going to be on those two brothers when the funeral does take place. We know that the funeral is taking place now on Saturday afternoon at Windsor Castle. William and Harry will be taking part in the service, and it will be televised and it will be watched around the world, and many people will watch it. In their minds, they will have the recent interview that Harry gave to Oprah Winfrey with his wife Meghan, in which he criticised members of the royal family for their lack of support. So, as I say, a lot of attention will be focused on that, but also a lot of attention continues to be focused on the Queen, who her son Prince Andrew says has a void now in her life. That's how she's describing it. But we also know that she wants to be seen as stoic during this time. That's something else that Prince Andrew told us too. As I say, the funeral service in Windsor on Saturday, it will be a pared-back affair because of coronavirus restrictions, but we also know that Prince Philip himself didn't want a fuss to be made, had not wanted to have a large state funeral anyway, so perhaps the pared-back affair that we will see on Saturday won't be too far from what he would have wanted anyway.
Well, thank you so much. That's our UK correspondent, Olly Barratt, outside a London pub. And Olly, you've certainly earned your pint, so go and enjoy it.